time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And I have a very special guest today with me. I have Oluy. Oluy has her own YouTube channel. So I thought, how fit would it be to jump on with me and talk about the Real Housewives of Dallas? Oluy, how are you?
Thank you. I'm well. How are you getting on?
I'm doing great. This morning I had like a nice little beach walk and cleared my mind, and I feel really good today. So I am on top of the world. How are you?
Brilliant. I live by the water in London, so I really love living by the water. But guess what? There is absolutely no beach around London. So when you're walking on Thames, it's like walking around dirty water. But at least it's still nice. You can pretend you're by the water of sorts. But yeah, it's really nice being by the water. I can see how that can be quite calming, you know?
Yeah, it's very calming. I mean, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to strangle somebody. And then by the end of my beach walk, I'm like, wow, I feel so zen.
You know what? I think they should probably introduce your theory to like people in prison. So that way you can rehabilitate them in a way.
I love that. Well, Oluy, I know that you also have your own YouTube channel. So we're just getting started. People are barely coming into the room now. We have about 50 people. So guys, go ahead and hit that like button as you come in. And Oluy, I want to start off and end off with where we can find you.
Oh, I am on YouTube, obviously, and my channel is Oluy. There are a few Oluys on YouTube. I think there are about 3 or so, but my name is spelled Oluy. I think I'll probably talk about like political commentary and like just take the piss. When I say take the piss, I mean just general banter and just make light of really heart-wrenching or serious topics. And yeah, pretty much it. I think it's basically just to have a laugh, because I think at the end of the day, you just want to sit back and just have a laugh and forget about everything going on and just get on with the day. I think that really helps. So that's
not always be so serious.
True. I'm never serious until I'm serious. And it takes a lot to get me serious. You have to be paying me for me to be serious. So usually I just take the piss all day long. And I'm extremely nervous because this is the first time I've ever done a live chat.
No, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I promise you, it's a lot of fun. We have a great community in here. And guys, also, you don't have to go rummaging and looking. If there's a lot of Ollies on there, I also put Oluy's YouTube channel in the description of this video. So you're more than welcome to go check her out. Go shoot her a couple likes on her videos and subscribe. And with that being said, Oluy, should we jump right into this episode of The Real Housewives of Dallas?
Let's get it. I'll have my filter, between my brain and my mouth, so I don't say crazy stuff.
That's okay. Hey, listen, you can say whatever comes to mind. Okay. But I mean, this is a lot because we have some very eccentric women. We start off this episode, guys, for The Real Housewives of Dallas with Cameron and her dog Fancy working out. This was interesting because this woman is a little bit eccentric with her animals. She's working out on her elliptical or whatever it is. Fancy is walking on their treadmill, and I've just never seen anything like this. But she said to the producers, sometimes when Fancy wants a challenge, Fancy gives a good bark and lets her know, so then she puts the treadmill on incline. Now, I don't know if she's trying to play it up for the cameras or if she's just a little but hey, listen, I would love to live like Cameron Westcott. But I do want to say, I don't think that Cameron is all not there. I think that she's super sweet. She's a great mom and a great wife and also a great friend. She's throwing a 50th birthday party for her friend Kary and she's doing this all-white Saint-Tropez theme where she's calling the women, inviting them while she's exercising, and letting them know, hey, girl, come on, it's going to be a good time. And I think it's really fun for Kary that Cameron has taken it under the reins, taken this party under the reins, hired a party planner, and she's throwing it in her father-in-law's backyard. I mean, that's a good friend.
Well, I mean, okay, clearly I would love a friend like that. But I think the thing about Cameron, right? I think that's her name. Let me just make sure I got her name right. Because I do have Cameron. Yeah, the thing about Cameron is that I don't know. There is something there is about something about consistency and something about her that I just find slightly overwhelming, a bit hard to swallow. And I just think, I would, if she's the same person, like she portrays on TV at home on an everyday basis, and she's the same person as a child or high school and university, then that's a different story. But I find she's projecting what is needed, like, oh, this innocent little girl that I need to be rescued. And I think she's a very, very intelligent, strong woman underneath it all. And
you're saying she has Paris Hilton syndrome?
Yeah, because Paris Hilton has like the real voice, and then there are times when she goes like, oh, and I think it's like this whole vulnerable thing that probably guys like, and they want to come and rescue and, damsel in distress sort of thing. But I don't know. I just find her a bit like, it's like taking a whole plate of food and just shoving it in your mouth, It's like,
you find her to be a lot.
It's just a bit, a tad bit. And I think, you have your teeth for a reason. You just need to chew a little bit, taste the food. I think she just needs to kind of get herself into a slightly more consumable chunks for me to really get her. But I mean, her throwing a party for a friend. Hey.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I mean, I know that you said before we came on here that you watched the other 2 episodes before this, and she was a little annoyed because she felt like, hey, listen, I'm not a fan of this new woman, Tiffany Moon. Tiffany is beautiful. She's intelligent. She is rich. She really has it all together, but she threw a party wanting to share her culture with the rest of the women and let them know this is where I come from.
Yeah.
I hate when I have an itch on my face. She wanted to let them know this is where I come from. And she, Tiffany Moon was trying to have all of the women try chicken feet, but Cameron Westcott is a big animal advocate. And she's like, I am not going to eat a little chicken's feet when I'm thinking about their little chicken family and all of this stuff that she's going on about, which is kind of bizarre. But I mean, it's not, but it is when the way that she explains it. And she wants to call Tiffany Moon out about this. She feels like, hey, listen, I don't like the way that you were trying to force me to eat something. And I think that you should know that that's not proper etiquette. Do you feel like she's taking this a little bit too far? Or do you think it's fair? Like if you go out to a dinner party, you don't want to be told what to eat.
Well, there is a mixture of things. First off, I enjoyed the editing, when they were putting the chicken around the plates and the meats and stuff like that. I thought that was funny. I think there is something about respecting other people's culture, and especially when they invite you, and it's like a really nice gesture. You need to respect their culture and respect, what they're presenting to you.
But does that mean you have to eat it?
Well, do you know what? Probably not. I think there's a way of tackling it, but then also I think Tiffany kind of pushed the boundary just a tad bit, and I think I understand it because. I mean, the Asian culture and the African culture, they're kind of like, oh, come on, eat it, and always in your face. And it's like, you can be a bit apprehensive about it. But I genuinely think Tiffany wasn't come from a bad place. I've eaten chicken feet before.
I mean, listen, just a little backstory, and I think I've said this on my channel before. Yeah. Guys, almost 100 in the room. Go ahead, hit that like button, show some love. But I think I've said this before. I went to Thailand with my fiance and we lived there for 4 or 5 months. And when we arrived to see our friend, she's Thai. She's originally from Los Angeles, but she's a big superstar in Thailand. And they greeted us with this feast where it was this massive table and there was a huge fish in the middle of the table. And the fish had its eye still in it. And they tried to get us to eat the eye. And they said, it's good luck and it's like tradition and you have to try it. And I was like, I can't eat that. I'm so sorry. And I'm finicky. Like I eat chicken fingers, chicken nuggets, fish sticks, pizza, rice. Like I'm basic.
Yeah.
I'm a basic guy. And they're like, no, you have to eat it. My fiance will eat anything. So he's like, yes, I'll eat it. And I'm like, no, I can't eat that. They kept telling me, if you don't eat it, you're rude. And I was like, at the end, listen, I'm American. You think I'm rude anyways. I'm so sorry. I could not eat that fish eye. I am so like, I apologize. I'll eat anything else. And then they tried to get me to eat a squid on a stick. And I was like, besides that, I can't eat that either. So it was just an experience, but
I think I don't know, but I mean, because I spent like I've been to Thailand a few times, and I spent like a month back, I think about 2-3 years ago, and I love Thailand. But I think they're different cultures, and I think when somebody goes out of their way to prepare something for you, or to make you feel comfortable as a guest, you have to play your part. I can understand the hesitation of kind of plucking into the eyes and like gobbling it down. But at the same time, I mean, I've had, like the fish eye, and it's not that, but I know I put everything in my mouth. Not everything, but I put more than I should in my mouth. But I mean, there's just some food, like, I don't know, it depends on the culture, and like, in the Japanese culture, in the Chinese culture, Asian especially, there is this respect factor, and it's showing appreciation for the person who has worked hard to kind of welcome you to their home,
Yeah. No, and Lynn Alex said, if you eat chicken nuggets, you can eat chicken feet, with a laughing face. I don't know about that, Lynn, only because when you eat chicken feet, you have to eat around the little bones, and you eat I think it's the cartilage off, and then you spit the bones out. And for me, I'm not a bones guy. I can't necessarily. So I think I'm also a texture person. Like, if I can't eat beans because I can't have them pop in my mouth, I'll vomit. Like, I'm so weird about food. I'm not even kidding, guys. I'm a weirdo. And then Becky said, I'm sorry, but no one will force me to eat anything I don't want to. I agree. And then Tia Bia said, I like Tiffany. She's a good addition to the show, but I do think Cam kept going on and on a little bit too long about the chicken feet. I agree about that too.
I agree.
Ali, I want to ask you if you find Tiffany Moon to be a little bit of a hypocrite, or if you understand where she's coming from. And I want to explain by this. Tiffany Moon pretty much held Brandi accountable on the first episode, because Brandi made a video, and she was making fun of the way that her eyes looked in the video. The video looked like this. And she was like slanting her eyes and trying to talk like she had some sort of, like she was either Chinese or Taiwanese, Korean, Thai, anything. She was honestly, it sounded like she was making fun of the culture, right? Yeah. So Tiffany Moon held her accountable. But then Tiffany Moon ended up telling us in this episode about her TikToks, making fun of her mom, putting the pressures on her to study, where she put on that heavy accent, and she threw the shoe and it hit her in the head, and she said, you need to study for your SATs. And she was doing it in her mom's heavy accent. Yeah. But people are divided on this. Some people are saying, listen, she is Chinese. She can do that because she's Chinese. So it makes more sense for her to do it. And then other viewers, when I was reading the comments on some of the comments for this episode, people are like, that's not fair. It shouldn't be acceptable across the board. For me personally, I feel like, listen, she grew up in this culture. She's Chinese. These are her experiences. And just like I could make a video about my mom, yelling at me in the way that she would, being American, I think that's totally fine. I think it's fine for Tiffany to do the same thing. But for Brandi, taking her eyes and doing the motion where she makes them smaller or, whatever, and kind of changing her accent, I feel like that might be a little bit more ignorant. But I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I mean, I agree with you. I think everyone kind of has a double standard, and they contradict themselves. Tiffany was criticizing Brandi for doing X, Y, and Z, like mocking her culture per se. And then Tiffany, on the other hand, is mocking the culture. But then, I mean, this is just human nature. But then, she has lived in this culture most of her life, and she wants to mock it. That is up to her. I don't think her TikTok video, because I watched it on episode 3, her TikTok video was really focused on mocking the culture per se. I think it just shows the extraordinary pressure being put on her to achieve X, Y, and Z. And I really, really do align myself with Tiffany a lot, because it feels like she's living her life for her parents and her mother. Is either you be a doctor or a lawyer, you can't be anything other than that. And I really, really understand her, because every single time I feel like I'm hearing my mother in my ears going, oh, you can't do this, you can't do it, you have to do it. And it can be a lot of pressure. And I think Tiffany might not really understand who she is at the moment, and she's really struggling to find her own identity that is separate from what her parents want for her. Because right now she's living the dream that her mother and her dad set for her, but is it her dream? And back to the whole Brandi, situation, I think it was just in extreme poor taste. People did say, all sorts of things. I think, guys, come on. There's no point in bringing the horrible, side and saying all sort of nasty things to her. I mean, she was already hard on herself, for someone to I think mental health is such a big topic. And for someone to say something and then they get this backlash and then feel bad, they apologize, but then they take it a step further to go down the end of life sort of route or going to facility. I think that's extreme, and I think that is something we need to have empathy for. I think Tiffany handled it great. She explained her side to her first episode. This is what I feel, and this is why it affects me, what you said, how it affected me, and I think it came to like a kumbaya moment. I think, in life, people just contradict themselves all the time, sometimes I agree with that. People being kind and people doing the right thing, but then I end up doing the wrong thing. I'm not perfect, I'm human. So yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense, because, we all contradict ourselves sometimes. I do want to put this on here. Sam said she isn't bringing anything to the show. I disagree. I feel like Tiffany Moon is bringing a lot to the show, and I think that she is a great addition.
Absolutely.
But Sam, I do appreciate your opinion. And here we go. So I want to move on and talk about Cameron planning the Saint-Tropez 50th birthday party for Kary. Kary requested a few things. She requested a table to dance on. She requested being sprayed with champagne. And Cameron's adding a few other things. She's adding the phrase, "It's a situation." She's adding hot models to take care of Kary all night. And she is just trying to make it as special as possible. But Kary's not done. She thought, hey, why not? I'm 50. I feel like I'm the sexy woman. I'm going to do a photo shoot. Not only did she do a sexy photo shoot, she did a photo shoot where every outfit was showing everything. I mean, not everything down here, but up here there was nothing left to the imagination. I was like, listen, you're 50, you're flirty, you're thriving, you feel good. Hey, do your photo shoot. I was actually reading some of the comments on the episode where people were like, that's disgusting. She's 50, act like a 50-year-old woman. And I'm like, what is a 50-year-old woman exactly supposed to act like? Like she's old and decrepit? No way. She's 50. She looks like that. She's sexy. Like if I were her, I would own it too. If I were Kary Duber, I would be taking and doing the same photo shoots. I mean, I don't think I could handle my tequila the way she does, but the photo shoots with the lace showing and bearing it all. I mean, really kind of bearing it all. I would be doing it too. I get it.
I absolutely agree. She was drop dead gorgeous at 50. Everything, I think I'll use the American slang, snatched and put together. And I was like, girl, like it was beautiful. And I'm like not almost half her age, but I wouldn't reveal my age. But yeah, I mean, still getting closer to that number. But she was so gorgeous. I think I was like,
yeah, it's like, wow, you go.
People are, you go by what society wants you to do. They say, oh, when you're 20, you need to show more skin. When you're this age, you need to be a bit conservative. When you're this, it's like, you know what? I'm a human being. I want to, fly out of the balcony. Obviously, I'm going to land on the ground, but I want to do what I want to do. And she is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman at 50. Like, I mean, when the celebrities do it, it's absolutely fine. Oh my gosh, beautiful, sexy, alluring. But when someone else does it, they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Like,
yeah, no, it's like a double standard. I mean, original Dalston girl said Kary looks hot, great for 50. Storm Doris said, girl, I agree. Love. That he was talking about Mama D. She was goals for me. And yeah, I mean, I agree with all of these. I agree with all of these answers. If you look great, then reveal your age. Heck, I used to add a few years to my age when I was in my 30s. LOL, it choked people more. Kary looks amazing. I like that.
She's gorgeous. She's a bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs though, but and with that particular thing,
that's what makes a good housewife.
Yeah, I know, but she is absolutely gorgeous. And I think, you know, with especially with Latinas, you know, there is this whole kind of vibration of kind of welcome to my abroad kind of look that they give to you. And it's I mean, at 50, she's able to still carry it.
I hope I look like her when I'm 50.
Count me in.
All right, so I want to move over back to Tiffany Moon for a second. Guys, again, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. You can also follow Oluy. Her YouTube link is in the description of this video. But I want to move back over to Tiffany Moon. Tiffany Moon takes her daughters to what's called the Asian market.
Yeah.
And this is where she can get some of the foods that, I mean, she's shopping for her mom and her dad right now, just to be fair. If you guys didn't watch the episode, she takes her daughters to the Asian market because she only gets to spend 2 hours a day with her daughters. And they don't look at it as like chores or going out and running errands. They look at it as what Tiffany calls an adventure. So when she takes them to the Asian market, she's going around and she's not only showing them foods that she grew up with, but she's repeating them to them, and I believe it's Mandarin that she was speaking in, and she's having the daughters kind of repeat it back. So it seems like every time she's with her daughters, whether they're reading or learning something, or I mean practicing their second language, it's like she's always educating her family, which I love about her. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of pressure that comes with it, but I love that about her. She talks about the family dynamic with her mom and how her mom is really never happy or never easily pleased. I'm starting to find that's sort of a cultural thing because I just finished watching The Bling Empire on Netflix. I'm currently watching House of Ho, which is amazing. But there's a lot of pressures growing up, you know, in an Asian family. I feel like there are a lot of pressures to be extremely educated and to just really be on it and bring honor to the family. Whereas like sometimes, and I don't want to be disrespectful to us Americans, sometimes our parents will be like, take your skateboard and get out of the house. Like, go away. You know, so we don't have those same pressures.
I'm glad I did not say that. Adam, you said that all by yourself.
Well, listen, I'm speaking from like the friends that I grew up around in South Florida and Tennessee and stuff. Like,
yeah,
we would have to do our little bit of homework that might have been 1 or 2 pages. We would complain about it, and then we would go play on the trampoline or go play football in the backyard or go swimming. Like, we weren't stuck in front of a computer constantly having to be educated. And I actually have a caller on here. Her name's Dana, and she teaches children from China. She does virtual teaching and our virtual school. And she was telling us one day on our live how hard it is for these kids because they go to school, they come home, and then they have to, like, they eat their food, have dinner, and then they go literally sit back right in front of the computer, and they have to keep being educated because they get certain ranks and levels. And if you don't hit certain ranks, you don't get to elevate in your schooling. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressures. I think that's fair to say. That's, you know, nothing that's disrespectful at all. I actually envy it because, you know, it's really pushing for education, and then it's not a bad thing to be educated. But for Tiffany Moon, you know, her parents, she didn't grow up with any money. Her parents wanted her to be a doctor or a lawyer, put a lot of pressure on her. And then she ended up marrying into the Moon family, which is a very wealthy family. And she was talking about how she could never please her parents. She bought her mom a brand new Porsche that cost over $100,000. Yeah. And the first thing her mom said was, "Why is it not purple?" And that, it's like, what? She just bought you a house for a car. I mean, growing up, like we lived in some houses that didn't even cost as much as that Porsche. What are you talking about? Why is it not purple? Those are like, you grew up poor. But that's Tiffany's example of sometimes it's just, when is enough? And she feels like her parents are really hard on her, but she feels like her mother is a better grandmother to her children than she was a mother to her. Yeah. What makes me feel bad about this, though, is Tiffany Moon has never been on reality TV. This is her first season. And her mom and her parents are going to watch this, and I'm sure this is probably going to hurt their feelings a little bit because, as you know, you don't think so?
Not remotely. I think because I've been in that sort of tradition, that not Asian culture. Obviously, I'm Black, so I've been in an environment where X and Y is expected of you. Sorry, there's a bit of echo. Is it from my end? Sorry.
No, you're not echoing.
Okay, fair enough. X and Y is expected of you at all times, so you need to be. Basically, you need to strive for the best. And if you don't get the best, you're not good enough. And I can hear, that's why I said I can hear Tiffany's mother in her ears at all times telling her, X, da-da-da, da-da-da, you're not doing it right. And it can be so draining. And I think her parents would not feel bad at all because they have a very tunnel vision. This is how I want my daughter to be. And if she's not this way, then whatever, you know. And they have, I think the sensitivity level is quite low, so they wouldn't be upset at all. I don't think. I think what I find very beautiful, first of all, what I found beautiful was that she was engaging with her children. I thought, I was like, oh, that's really, really sweet, because she was spending quality time with the children. She was educating them, but she was really, really engaging with them. And I think if you watch most of this housewives, all this, housewives shows, the level of engagement with the children, especially in front of the camera, is a bit kind of staged. But you can see she's such a natural mother. And it's so nice,
Well, it's funny that you're actually saying that, because somebody put on here, Original Dalston Girl. If I was Tiffany, I would probably be more worried about my work colleagues and patients, and probably her children, just via how rowdy it gets sometimes with these ladies. She is getting some backlash because she did say on camera, I only spend 2 hours a day with my children. And now you signed up to join a reality show on top of your strenuous work hours. That's, a lot of people are kind of giving her backlash for that, saying like, what kind of parent are you? And that sucks, because she can't win.
People are always going to judge you, even if you are an amazing, amazing person. If you're kind and you're generous and you give everything you have, people are always going to judge you. I think everyone needs to make their own decision. I can see what they're saying and why they're saying it, but it is her decision. I think she wants to do something for herself for once. And I'm not entirely sure. Like, I want to walk into my, over here we call it GP, which is general practitioner, like your doctor, and you say, oh, hey. And then, your doctor's been in a reality show with the bikini on and everything. It's a bit, I don't know.
No, not me. I would be like,
yeah,
oh, you on TV, girl. Let's do this surgery.
Yeah, I've had a few surgeries. So if I see someone, with that sort of level of exposure, and kind of, I've seen them in compromising setups, trying to take a scapular, to my my stomach, I might be like, oh, maybe let's talk about this. Let's think about it. But I mean, I think she's a fantastic mother. I think she's an exceptional addition, because she is driven. She is extremely intelligent. She's switched on. She's achieved a lot outside the housewife, setup, and with or without the housewife setup, she's gonna be fine. Right. So I think, I don't know, back a long time ago when we watched The Housewives, it's just to get away from our usual grind and craziness and watch something completely different. And I think she's bringing that bit of flavor back into the show, and is showing that you can achieve everything you want to achieve in life and still, be X, Y, and Z. And I think she's showing some form of vulnerability where we're gonna get to that later on, where she goes to the party and she's giving herself this pep talk of sorts, and she's struggling to have fun but still dealing with her mother in her ear. I think she's gonna be an exceptional, dynamic sort of.
I honestly, I want to point out three things really quick. Where are they? Here we go. One, Tony said, I am liking the co-host today, loving her perspective. And then I wanted to show you how divided people are. Guys, if you haven't already, almost 150 in the room, go ahead, hit that like button. Original Dalston Girl said, I think this is how divided it is, Ollie. I think it's too easy to judge someone's life. She's an MD surgeon, and I think she does a great job as a mother and has her extended family for support. And then there's somebody else on here who said, Kelly Cow, don't have kids if you can only devote 2 hours a day to them. Womp, 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 my ASS, you are not a great mother. So that's what I mean is like you, honestly, and I'm not here to, I welcome everybody's opinions because I'm not biased. So I just want to hear what people think about the women that they're watching on the show. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, don't say that. I just want to hear everybody's thoughts. But this is a great example of how divided people feel about, especially Tiffany Moon. And Tiffany Moon also has to know, Lay said, wow, that's a bit much. Tiffany Moon also has to know coming onto a reality show, you're going to get nothing but scrutinized. People are going to read you up and down, left and right, rip you apart, put you back together, put you on a pedestal, and then pull that pedestal out from under your feet.
Smash you down.
Yeah. But speaking of Tiffany Moon, though, I don't know if you noticed this. Did you see that when Tiffany Moon goes home every day, she has this kind of system because especially during the pandemic, she doesn't go right in from being around all of her patients all day, right into her house and hugging her children. She goes straight to the back, like to the side of the house. They have an outdoor shower. She showers in the outdoor shower, gets ready, puts on a robe, and then comes in the house, enters, and spends time with the children, her 2 hours. I was like, it's great that she is, a doctor and everything, but this is just she has a lot on her plate, this woman. She has a lot.
True. But that Beyonce, I really quote Beyonce, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it. It's like make that money and get back to business, have the babies and get back to business. I think they're about, I'm not really that good with the quotes. However, I think it does. I think Tiffany brings such a new perspective to the show. She is, working in such a compromising environment. I've worked in the healthcare sector for the corporate, like business side, but not non-clinical side. And the pressures and the expectation on doctors or surgeons or consultants, it's extremely, extremely high. But she's doing that. She's still dedicating that time to meet, take care of other people other than her family, then get back home. And the fact that they show that she has to go through that process. And I can say this is time she could be spending with her kids, but she is making that sacrifice. I think people need to see things from other perspective. And you know what, back to what you say, how divided the room is. I mean, that's absolutely fine. I think what is important, and we shouldn't forget it, is that, dynamic, team, like people make beautiful teams, and if everyone comes from a different perspective, that's absolutely beautiful. But I don't think we should be all, I think I'll use the American expression, ratchet about or terribly vicious and just go like,
No, I agree with you. I think that there's a way to express yourself with integrity. You can express yourself and your feelings and still maintain your integrity. Storm Doris said Tiffany Moon should be the standard of the housewives. Brains, beauty, accomplished and culture, definitely a fresh perspective. Maybe we were wrong on her, Dobius Taurus. She cannot be a doc in that fake materialist at the same time, and maybe it's for the show. Her job shows her every day what's in real life. See, divided. Okay, I'm gonna keep it moving really quick.
I think she can be whatever she chooses to be, and just like everyone would, like I think I can't remember the lady's name, was saying that I don't want to be force fed, chicken feed. I'm gonna choose what I eat. You want people to respect your boundaries and respect who you are, and I think it's so important to kind of give people the same thing you want, so kind of be like a reflection,
Yeah.
Possibly,
yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't even realize too how much, like I'm looking at my notes and everything, and I didn't even realize how much of this episode revolved around Tiffany Moon and how much this season is already being centered around her. Like she is coming in hot because as for like my next part of the notes, Cameron Westcott, who's throwing this party for Kary, she's getting more and more annoyed with Tiffany. Again, she feels like there's a double standard because the day that Tiffany invited everybody to dim sum to try the chicken feet and experience her culture, Cameron looked at Deandra Simmons and said, I don't want to sit next to the COVID girl. And Tiffany Moon was like, don't call her that. And then all of a sudden, when they show up to Kary Duber's birthday party, Tiffany Moon said something about, she called Brandi COVID girl. And all of a sudden, Cameron got upset and she's like, wait a minute, you told me not to say that. And Tiffany was like, I'm joking. I was joking. And Cameron goes immediately into her interviews and she's like, no, like this is a double stand. She's just not feeling Tiffany. And then from there, she goes on to throw another dig when they're sitting at the table. And Cameron said, this food is a lot better than the chicken feet. Tiffany said pretty much.
Was very unnecessary. I
thought it was unnecessary too. Honestly, I thought that was unnecessary. I thought that you're like picking. And like Ebony said, how petty. I agree with that. But you know, she said that this food is a lot better than the chicken feet. Tiffany said that she was disrespecting her whole country and the Chinese culture. And Cameron got upset. She said, I'm not disrespecting your culture. And she said, actually, by you saying that I'm disrespecting the whole Chinese culture, you're stereotyping your people and you're stereotyping your whole country right now. And Tiffany's just looking at her like, girl, really? And Cameron was trying to take it to this whole next level, but Tiffany finally looked at her across the table with the fork and she's like, girl, I wasn't like, eat the chicken foot. You know, she was ready to kind of squash it and be like, it wasn't that serious. Calm down. And you can see Tiffany Moon doesn't have a lot of friends, so she's really trying to fit into the group. I think she comes on a little strong because she's an overachiever. And
absolutely agree.
She wants the women to like her, but also we have to remember this is her first season on a reality show. You can't, this is a dynamic group of women who are just rough to, like any housewife show, to get into an ensemble cast who already has their flow and be able to just jump right in there. That's a hard thing to do because the women are immediately going to be going and gunning after you to take you out and see if you can handle it. They almost haze you like a sorority or a fraternity. But Tiffany Moon seems like she's handling it really well until Kary pushes her in the pool. That's where she lost me.
You know what? I think, first of all, I mean, the whole, you know, like I said, you know, Cameron needs to come across just in a little bit of consumable chunks because she's just a bit too much to swallow, and I don't like putting too much shit in my mouth. Sorry, I just swore. I don't like putting too much in my mouth. So let's break it down, you know, cut it a little bit. And I think she's just I don't know, but regardless, you know, and she went on about that centerpiece, you know, it has to be in the centerpiece. She comes across pretentious, you know, vulnerable, and then at the same time quite aggressive. And it's like, which one am I gonna get today? It kind of plays with your head a little bit. And the whole thing, you know, it wasn't the time or the place. It wasn't that serious. It was just chicken feet. Like, let's move on. And the part that I was so blown away was when Kary threw her in the pool and she couldn't swim. I can't swim. So I was getting heart palpitation for her. And I was thinking, no, but the way... You know, there is this level of calm in emergencies that, you know, clinical people have. And the level of calm she had in that water, she wasn't flaring around. She wasn't angry. She wasn't like, why would you do that? She just was just calm and peaceful, I think. And she wanted to maintain that happy-go-lucky kind of environment. I thought that was very commendable because I would have been like, oh, no, you. I would have lost. You know, turned up the camera and just go like, no, we need to talk about this. No, you don't do that. That's just crazy.
Well, Original Dalston Girl said Kary was awful. Again, Tiffany handled what could have been a very fearful experience really well.
Absolutely.
I think it's interesting because a lot of people were like, oh, when she pushed her in the water, she was standing. It couldn't have been that bad of an experience. Like she was standing in that water, but she might have a fear of the water. So whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. We all have our own fears. If I throw you in a pit of snakes and there's snakes that don't bite, but you're afraid of snakes, that's probably, you're not going to like that, you know? Like if some people are afraid of fish. So if you get in the ocean and you have a bunch of fish swimming around you and there are a bunch of guppies, but that are not going to do anything to you, but they're touching you or swimming under your feet and you're freaking out, that is still a fear. So at the end of the day, it's still a fear. But
I think I have quite a few phobias, and I used to be afraid of dogs, a long time ago. But now I'm fine with being around them, and I absolutely love dogs. But you cannot, then I wouldn't even go close to the park. I wouldn't cross. When there's a dog, I'm crossing the road to the other side. And I think people need to respect and understand that certain people have phobias. If she cannot swim, and even if the water is at just covering her toes, she cannot swim. You've thrown her into a pool. She cannot swim. That on its. I think Kary she's fun and she's like I said, cooking for Cocoa Pops, but I think she lacks a bit of empathy, and you can see that dynamic with her and Deandra. And there's just this lack of empathy that I for some reason I don't gravitate towards her. I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, I don't know how I feel about her either. But that is where we technically left off this episode. So I can't even believe we've already been on here for 42 minutes. This flies by. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. Show some love. Also, go follow Ollie. Ollie's YouTube channel is in the link in my description. Yeah. And Ollie, I always like to end on a positive note. What are you looking forward to most next episode?
I think, they're going to go to a vineyard or something like that. And, historically, vineyards and, barns are not really a friendly place for, the general housewives, market. So
are you talking about Potomac? I caught that shade.
Yeah, I do want to go, dropping names, but I think Kary, Kary is just gonna rub me off a little bit off, in the next episode. I think what I'm looking forward to is seeing how Tiffany manages and contains the situation of being thrown into the pool, being forced or hazed to be part of the party and have fun. And I really want to see more of the dynamic between her and her mother, because I think I will learn from that a lot, because I have this quite similar setup with my mother and there's so much pressure. So I want to see how she manages and tackles that environment. I think something I love about the Real Housewives of Dallas is, I think it's Brandi and Stephanie's, kind of bond. It's healthy, it's playful, it's joyful, it's childish, it's immature. And I think it's just this, I don't know, this just kind of, beautiful, seamless bond they have. And I think after you've had a really, really rough day, you just turn on your, TV and you're flipping through and you see that and you're just like,
it's an easy watch.
I know, it's a very easy watch, and you kind of see yourself smiling, and I think they should focus a little bit more on them, because I don't want to see all the catty fights with non-stop catty fight. I think that's why I stopped watching Atlanta. Just too many fights. I want to see them have fun, take the piss, have a good time, and see what happens. But yeah, I think I just kind of mixed up the whole positive and negative all around. So you filter it and find out which one is better.
No, you did great. And for me, I would have to say, I'm just looking forward to seeing how Tiffany and Kary's relationship develops. I don't think it develops in a positive way, but I'm curious to see if there's ever any resolve in the situation before they get back to this negative space. But we will have to wait and see. Keep that for next week, next Tuesday, which is going to be a great episode. In the meantime, guys, 175 in the room. Go ahead, hit that like button, show some love. And Ollie, thank you so much for joining me today. This was a great recap. Everybody seemed to respond and love having you on here really well. So This has been great.
Are you sure I'm not paying them to like me?
Hey, if you're around, I'll email you. And if you're around on Wednesday, I'm doing this Wednesday next week. The only reason I didn't do it this Wednesday was because of out of respect for the inauguration day. But if you are around, I'll shoot you an email, and I would love to steal you back.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been quite seamless. I mean you have a positive energy and a non B word perspective on things, and I think I enjoy that, you know, especially watching it as a viewer. I enjoy that perspective, and I think you do respect the boundaries of everyone bringing in their, you know, their feedback and their take, and that is really, really nice. So I would most definitely want to be on, and thanks for having me. It's been really kind of you to let me in, and I'm glad I didn't say anything crazy. Hopefully I didn't.
No, Kelly Kell said great review, and she said you don't have to pay us, you were awesome. And then original Dalston girl said you were cute, Ollie, good chemistry together with Up and Adam. So thank you guys for showing the love. And with that being said, Ollie, I hope you have a great day and an even better weekend. And we will see you next time. Actually, it's nighttime over there, so it's time to break out the champagne.
Oh, don't worry. I already had my glass, you know, up there before I started to eat.
Sounds like I don't have to worry about you.
No, but it's like just about almost 5 o'clock. So it's really early evening. Nothing's going down. We're all in lockdown, so we're having a fabulous time indoors, tied, you know, to the bed and not moving too far. But I mean, listen, hopefully we had a good laugh, and I really enjoyed, you know, coming on here. And thanks for the kind words. And Adam's really cool, you know, collaborating with you.
Thank you, Ollie. Well, I appreciate that. And guys, again,
what are you gonna get up to after this?
Me?
Yeah.
I have more videos to make.
Well, listen, have a good laugh, you know, through whatever videos you're making.
Well, I appreciate that. And hey, like I said, I'm around. So if you ever need anything, just shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to help.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. That's extremely kind. And I wasn't even paying you to be kind.
You don't have to pay me to be kind. That is just me. I am a kind guy. So you give me 2 drinks and somebody who's disrespecting me, and then I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Ollie, you're gonna get me in trouble.
We don't have any criminal, charges against us. So we're just gonna take the piss all day long and talk nonsense. But hey, listen, you've been quite kind, and I think Jason has been extremely lovely as well. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ollie. We'll see you next time.
Ciao. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, guys, that was our recap of the Real Housewives of Dallas with Ollie. Again, she was fantastic. This was her first time doing a live, and I think she did absolutely wonderful. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. Like I said, I sound like a broken record, but also go show Ollie some love on her YouTube channel. She said she does political commentary and a few other fun things. Go check her out. Again, the link is in the description to this video. Show some love and show some support. Why not? Like she said, she's on lockdown over there, so I'm sure you would make her day, make her night, and maybe even make her want to break out one more glass of champagne to celebrate. With that being said, guys, I'm going to be dropping a few more videos today. So I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.